Welcome to the Work Heartily podcast, where we grab 15 minutes with Nashville founders and executives that you know and admire, and some you don't know yet, and ask them one big question. I'm your host, Jonathan Barnes. I'm coming to you from the Work Heartily headquarters here in Brentwood, Tennessee, where we help Nashville area businesses win through embedded fractional leadership. Today, we're hanging out with my good friend, Eric Jackson. He is the founder and CEO of Element 47, the Nashville agency helping brands stand out and scale faster. Eric, I'm so glad you're here. You ready to jump in?
It's a pleasure to be with you.
All right. Here's your one question. What leadership habit made the biggest difference as your team expanded?
2 words: shut up. So that came from somebody. Probably gave me this advice. I don't remember. But what I realized was when I had a competent team around me and there was some issue that came up, whether I brought it to the table or somebody else did, I had this urge to be the leader and be the first person to throw out ideas or to suggest a possible solution. And that was the worst possible thing I could ever do.
Yeah, I bet your friend or mentor was a very quiet person.
Probably. Or just had seen what speaking first does to the rest of the team. Because when I talk first, everybody begins to think of solutions that maybe fit that, or maybe they're a little reticent to throw something out there that I might disagree with. And so if I just sit back and be quiet and say, what do you guys think? It opens opens up the floor. Other people get to throw out ideas. And I'm telling you, 95% of the time, I'm thinking, golly, I'm glad I didn't open my mouth, because that's a lot smarter than what I would have done.
Yeah. And as you were expanding the team and people were bringing ideas, when you were actually using your 2 words of shutting up, some people see that as too passive and would say, on the flip side, like what you thought earlier is like, I need to be active here and start moving forward and having solutions. How did you bridge the gap between people seeing you as a passive leader versus an active leader? I mean, what did you do from there? When did you start taking, the ideas and actually executing on them?
Well, one thing is I would ask them to tell me from your perspective, what do you guys think the problem actually is?
Yeah.
So that's another way to get more feedback and not inject what I think the problem is. And because they're on the front lines, I'm not the one actually doing the work 95% of the time. I get called in for some very specific things, but they're the ones that are going to have to implement whatever solution gets chosen as the number one. And so they probably know how implementation is going to work better than I ever will. And they can be comfortable with it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of founders or executives, leaders they've already figured out what the solution is in their head. And so they've taken on very little information and acted on it, worked it out in their heads, figured out the solution, done it, and then say, let's do that. This obviously is what we got to do, without listening and have that active listening method. But I think it's really important that the team, or at least I've seen in the past, like the team listens to you, or you get, or is able to get feedback in. And then we all make a decision that makes sense for not only the business, but what everybody's doing inside their functions inside the business. I wish I'd learned that. I felt the same way you did. Like, I know exactly what to do. Let's just go ahead and do it. And without listening to every single department or every single manager or division or whatever you want to call it. In a small team, it's usually 3 or 4 people around the table saying, hey, that's going to affect me over here. I've got to adjust everything I'm doing, and it's going to take me forever. Instead of just taking the leader's advice and just grinning and bearing it, how do you foster an environment or foster a culture of being open to telling you as a leader, hey, that doesn't work, or have we thought about this? How have you fostered that open conversation environment within your team over the years?
Well, I tell people that I don't have all the answers and that I've hired you. I'm giving you the authority to do things.
Right.
Because I'm not going to be in every meeting that you're in. I'm not going to be in every customer interaction. And I tell them that you've got the authority to make decisions in the moment.
Yeah.
Because things are going to go wrong. You're going to have to step in and fix problems that you never imagined were going to happen. I'm going to give you the authority and the ability to make decisions on my behalf.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of pressure there. They know that they may, end up answering to me for something that got messed up. And when that does happen, my attitude is, oh, cool. We made a mistake. We've got an opportunity to learn here.
Yeah.
Tell me about how that went and what, because I've had employees come to me and you could tell just looking at their face, they're like, I've really messed up. I'm going to be in trouble. And you can see the fear just drain out of their face.
Yeah.
And they kind of get this wry smile that, oh, he realizes that mistakes get made. And I acknowledge that all the time. I make as many as anybody.
Yeah.
That gives them the, hey, I'm not going to get punished for this. This is a learning opportunity. I have trust in you. You're not going anywhere. Let's get better.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm not this punitive overlord. I'm somebody who wants to build, and my personal purpose in life is to connect and grow people. So I want people to get better, and I don't want to have to replace people. I don't want to have to do all the things.
Yeah, I think it reminds me of something I learned through Michael Hyatt about the 5 levels of delegation. I'm sure that's a common business model, but I learned it from him that just about how much ownership you're giving somebody. It's all the way from level 1, which is like, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do and when to do it and how to do it and all that kind of stuff, versus the 5th level is the highest level, is just what you said. I trust you and I'm giving you the authority to do this in the name of Element 47 or in the name of what we're doing in our organization. And how do you carry people along as you continue to kind of keep them pushing towards that trajectory of the 5th highest level of delegation in that model. And it's something that you learn over time. But if you're fostering that culture of leadership and accountability, and like you said, failure is just another opportunity to learn, you're always going to get better and your whole organization will get better doing that. That's great. Yeah. I think the biggest, how do you give them that feedback loop, that you got it, that you heard them, and then how do you move forward with an action plan, considering
Yeah.
all those things you just talked about.
Well, one of the things that I've never enjoyed is when people come to me with problems and they haven't even considered a possible solution. And so I ask very intentional questions about, tell me more about this problem. How did it start? Do you have any potential solutions? Do you know what the actual problem is? I know we've got some symptoms here, but is that really the disease, so to speak, that caused this? Because you don't want to paint over rust, to use another analogy. You want to figure out why the rust exists.
Right.
And so I talk through the problem with them and help them arrive at the answer. Because I might know what a potential solution is, but if I don't have all the data, then I'm not going to necessarily know what the right path is. And of course, they're trying to manage their calendar and their schedule and get as much work done as possible. And I want them to think in terms of just simple, get things done efficiently mode.
Yeah.
And done right in a way that resonates with the client or the customer,
Sure.
because ultimately they're the ones that pay our paychecks.
That's exactly right. Well, this is, we probably snuck in a couple more questions than just one today, but Eric, it's always incredible to hear your wisdom and to hear your experience. Highly admire what you do and how you lead. I just wanted to thank you for spending some time with us on the Work Heartily podcast today. For all you listeners, if you enjoyed the conversation, please subscribe, share the episode with another founder or leader. There's some nuggets of wisdom from Eric in there. Visit workheartily.com to learn how embedded fractional leadership can help your business grow. And we will see you next time.